Have you ever wondered why your mind feels heavy sometimes? Why certain negative thoughts just won't leave? Why even when you know your potential, you still somehow feel stuck? Many people appear to feel good all the time, yet they struggle with silent battles in their minds. And trust me, it's not because they're weak. It's just because they've been conditioned that way. And those conditions became weights. They became inner prisons. But hear me out. Your brain can be rewired. Your mind can be renewed. And God already gave you the tool to do so. Hypnosis, which by the way, is much less complicated than what it appears to be. The way I define it is the ability to shape your architecture of belief on an unconscious level. And when you shift your architecture of belief, which is literally your experience of reality, then obviously the actions you take and the quality of your life just explodes. It's when your mind starts working for you, pulling you towards the direction that you want to be in instead of working against you and holding you back. This is how you experience what freedom truly feels like. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 neuroscience-backed steps that allowed me to go from being bullied, socially anxious, and deeply addicted to corn for a decade of my life to taking back control of my life step by step, building an audience of over 30,000 people, teaching them how to do the same, that turned into a school community that became the #1 school community in that niche, allowing me to get paid to speak on stages, change lives, live the life I used to manifest in my journal, and all of this, even more importantly, while being able to get what money cannot buy, which is meaningful relationships. Matter of fact, instead of doing the rest of the video here, what I'll do is I'll share with you a segment of a coaching call I had with a client who hired me to speak in front of his students to persuade them to take more action, achieve results faster, all of this while feeling better about themselves, while feeling free. And the way I did that is by getting them to break their patterns, break their conditioning through a 3-step framework that I will describe step by step in that segment. You'll see the examples I use, the exercises I give to shift their beliefs as I speak. And listen, it's usually only available for people who pay, but in full transparency, I'm here to win your trust. And I learned that the best way to do that is to give away stuff for free that others would normally charge for. So with that being said, enjoy. So here's how I interrupt the patterns with my clients when it's a one-on-one. It's basically like, there's a part of it that's improvisation, it comes with a moment, but the structure is the same. And it comes from my man, Tony Robbins, what I learned from him, which is the emotional triad. The emotional triad. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what that is, well, you already know what that is, but it is a triangle right here. Now, remember the pattern interrupt side of the Venn diagram? Underneath that, it was state. I wrote state. That's because when you interrupt the pattern, the main goal is to change your state. Boom. Like you go from, I don't know, ashamed of something, and then boom, all of a sudden you're grateful. That's possible. Here's how it's possible. State. Our state is composed of 3 different things. Number 1, you have the physiology. Well, I'm reminding you of that because you already know it, but a reminder is always useful. You want to change your state, you want to interrupt your pattern. One of the best things you can do is you can just scream out of nowhere and just start jumping around. And now all of a sudden you're celebrating, and now you're running around or you're dancing, you're listening to some music, you scream, you tap your chest, you go, yes, let's go, boom. All of a sudden the energy is completely different. Completely different. Now physiology is something you can do. The other part you can do, not you can do, you must do to change your state is your focus. Your focus. And also the meaning, the story. I call it the story actually. The story you have in that moment. Now, physiology is pretty obvious how you change that in the moment. I just showed you guys. But focus and story. Focus and meaning you associate in that moment. What is the story that's running your life in that moment. The best way to change it immediately are questions. 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 A great example, when someone comes to me and goes, complaining about something. Life is so hard. They're complaining. They're in a victim mindset. One of my best ways to shift that immediately is ask them a question. Okay, Gino, would you watch a movie where the character is happy, no problems whatsoever, no challenges from the beginning to the end? Nothing happens. Nothing challenging happens. Character is just happy. Of course not. No one will make that movie because that shit is boring as fuck. So then I ask the question, so why do you wish for a life without problems? Why do you wish for a life without challenge? Challenges, overcoming problems is the meaning. It's what gives us meaning. It's what makes life exciting. And now I go, what if what's happening right now is the beginning of your comeback story? What if it's happening for you? What if it's building the character you need? And now all of a sudden, the person's mindset is completely different. So I have a list of questions I ask, use it on myself and on people, that immediately change what you focus on. Victim, or is it a gift? Am I a victim? Am I the creator of my life? Like all of these different shifts. And also, someone who's suffering deeply. Sometimes that works. I've used that and it's worked before. Someone who's suffering deeply. I go, hey, you know, like one day we're all going to come back to source, whatever that means. Whatever that means for you. It can be heaven or the next life. Whatever we came from, we'll come back to that. So don't worry. All of that pain and suffering will end. You're going to go there. And all of a sudden, now I'm breaking their pattern because it's like people tend to not want to think about death. And it's like, no, don't worry. We'll all go there. And it's almost taboo to say that like death will relieve you of all the suffering. Because it's like, what if the person's suicidal? It's like, no, it's true. We're all going to die one day and we're going to be fine. Like all the pain will end. Don't worry about that. You're going to go there. And then it's like, so might as well, while you're being human, because you're not going to be human forever. You're going to go back to source. While you're being human, why not experience the full thing? Why not experience all of the range of being human? What if all of the dark shit serves as contrast? Because how can you experience joy? How can you know what joy is if you've never experienced suffering? How can you know what freedom is if you've never been stuck? So it's like, what if all of that shit that's happening right now serves as contrast for what's coming? So that you get to appreciate it even more, so that it's meaningful for you. What if it's happening? Again, it comes back to what if it's happening for you? You change the story. How about we experience the full thing? All of a sudden you remove all the right and wrong and I shouldn't be feeling that. It's like, no, it's part of being human. So all of these questions can serve as change of focus and story. So William, I invite you, 2 things to answer your question. Number 1, you got to change the physiology, obviously. You stand up, you move a little bit, you jump, whatever. Woo! Okay, cool. Then, what is the story I'm believing right now? What is the story that's running my life? And then you find a few questions, you ask questions. What was one fucking very powerful question? What if, I have it here. I gotta tell you guys.
Wait, so the question is for focus or is for story?
Both. Like question serves as both. It changes automatically your focus and the meaning with the example I just gave. So it's like, okay.
Is there anything else for focus besides it?
To be honest, not really. Not in my, like the most effective, there's probably other stuff, but the most effective is the questions. Okay, if the opposite of what you believe was true, what would change? Pattern breaking. If the opposite of what you believe was true, what would change? It gets you to focus automatically on something you've never focused before because it's your belief. So if the opposite of what you believe was true,